Hey y'all, it's y'all favorite cozy girl, Chi the Reality Queen, and I am back again with another episode of Robe Chronicles. Tonight we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 4, episode... Oh, no. We're on episode 3. Sorry y'all, my fingers was getting all twisted. So this episode, I knew was going to be crazy. I already knew because of how we ended off last time. Whitney and Angie K were in the motel already, and the rest of the girls just showed up and they opened the door. So we start with them coming in. Trixie greets them, and Trixie's like, oh, the rest of the girls are here already. Now, the rest of them are looking around like, what do you mean the rest of the girls? Because in their mind, there's only one other girl that needs to be there. And of course, here comes Angie K and Whitney like, yeah, hey everybody. And I'm like, I feel like I watch Real Housewives a lot and I have to like calm myself. Like, it's not me, but I still have to calm myself because I'm so invested. I mean, that's why I'm here with you guys, because I'm so invested. But I'm just like, I would be so mad if I came to my trip and found someone that I purposely didn't invite there. But you know what? Meredith, she was playing it cool, at least at this point. Because Meredith does that thing where she acts like she doesn't care and everything's okay, and then all of a sudden, Meredith's acting crazy. It's like, this isn't a normal response, babe. It's not. It's not. I don't care what nobody says. But anyways, so then they get shown the rooms, and Whitney and Angie already selected a room. So when they finally split the rooms, Mary and Heather are sharing a suite. Like, I understand that Mary is a friend of, but Mary was invited. So if I'm Mary, Angie, you gotta share. And I think Angie should share with Whitney. They should have redone it to where Angie and Whitney get the suite and then everybody else chooses. And then also to find out that they chose the biggest room, or Whitney did, I was like, you're raggedy. That's what you are, Whitney. Very, very raggedy. So then Mary comes out after everybody goes to their rooms and immediately calls Whitney childish. She's like, you're childish. Like, why would you do that? Which is so true. Why would you do that? Like, and I get it. It's Real Housewives. I always have to make this little statement. Like, I get it. It's a reality TV show. We're looking for the mess. So that's why ultimately she was here. But it's like, now someone like Mary gets to make these comments. And you know what? I'm going to backtrack, because last episode I said I don't like Mary. And while that still kind of stands, Mary is funny. She is funny. She does provide a comedic relief to the show. Like, yes, there's other funny people, but I think Mary is unintentionally funny because she's dead serious when she says what she says. Like, she's not joking. And it's just so funny because it's like, girl, you're crazy. Anyway, so Meredith had brought gifts for everybody on this trip. She brings them out and she hands them out to everybody, and obviously ignores Angie because Angie wasn't invited. She didn't bring her a gift. It's like shirts. I feel like it must have been more, but ultimately they were shirts that say no tricks, all trust, or something like that. And Angie kind of felt slighted, but it was like, why would you feel slighted when you showed up and the person hosting didn't know? I'm not saying that Meredith couldn't have said, don't bring her Whitney, blah, blah, blah. But had you asked, maybe she would have been nice about it. She might have been disappointed, but she would have maybe had a gift for her so she didn't feel left out. Anyways, Meredith plans a shopping trip. And this shopping trip is basically to get the girls to trust one another. So you shop in pairs, and each pair is buying for the other. So Mary and Monica were paired together. Meredith and Lisa were paired together. Bad Weather was paired together. And Angie could just join in because she was not planned for. So she decides to join Whitney, of course. So Whitney, Heather, Lisa, Meredith, and Angie all go to the same store. And Monica and Mary go to a different store. And it's so funny because I think Mary, despite having money, is one of the tackiest housewives. Like, I know people talk about Giselle, but Giselle has pieces that are cute. Like, even though Giselle might put an outfit together that's a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I put those two things together. But overall, she picks cute pieces. But sometimes it'll be like, I just want to wear that. Mary, I don't think ever wears anything that I think is like nice. Like, when, you know, everybody knows that, you know, fashion designers and big, you know, companies, big, you know, fancy companies, they make clothing and you see it and you're like, oh my God, who wears that? It's Mary. It, like, she's the person wearing all that clothes that you're just like, what an interesting piece. She has it on. But she has the audacity to be like, Monica can't pick for me because she don't know how to pick clothes. And I'm like, okay, sis, if you say so. Anyways, on the other side, Meredith picks out some, I don't know, like a see-through shirt, long sleeve shirt, and like a little like belly dancing type skirt for Lisa. Lisa picks out like a nice, you know, yellow dress for her. It's very plain Jane. Whitney picks out like some bomber jacket for Heather. And then I can't even remember what Heather picked for her, but it was a dress, I believe. And then Angie came out in a Grecian type dress. Yeah, it honestly, Lisa's outfit was terrible. Like, Meredith made a whole big stink about like, oh, you have to trust that you know the person and you're gonna pick something that they would like. But she went and picked the ugly, I'm talking like, just, there is no situation in which someone should have worn that outfit unless it was like, I'm part of a play and my character is tacky. Like, that is the only time I could see somebody putting the outfit that she put together for Lee. Like, everybody else, I'm not saying I loved it, but everybody else I think could be wearing something that someone could potentially wear. Lisa was the only person wearing something that I was just like, why did you do this to this girl? Like, you have to hate her. And it's funny because Mary in her confessional even said it. She's like, I don't know who dressed Lisa, but Lisa, that person hates you. And it's like accurate because yes, that person does hate you. Meredith, you said you're over what she said. Obviously not, because you put her in that little belly dancing skirt because you hate her. But what I didn't like is I feel like Lisa complained the entire, again, edit could have been how it was, but it seemed like she complained the entire ride about having to wear that little skirt. I'm not saying I wouldn't have been upset, but I would have just, you know, been like, you know what, it's a fun time. I'm not gonna make a big deal. And yeah, she did make a big deal. So then they get to dinner and it seemed like everything was going well, but because Whitney is now trying to play this role of, and I hate to liken her to somebody else, but I feel like she's trying to play the Ashley Darby role in which she's just like a shit stirrer, but it never comes off genuine, which is so crazy because she's like, oh, let's play warm, fuzzy, cold, and prickly. And I guess it's a game where you say something nice about somebody and then you also say something that you don't like. And she's like, oh, everybody does it to the person to the right of them. And first of all, why? I mean, I guess because you're trying to build relationships, but the game could have just been warm, fuzzy. You didn't have to add no cold and prickly because you knew that was gonna obviously start-ish, right? So Meredith, I think Heather starts off and she says to Angie, like, the warm fuzzy is high school because they were friends in high school. The cold and prickly is she's like, I don't trust you. I think you're a bad person, whatever. Basically that she said. And everybody's like, what? Which, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really care for Angie K, but I think she took that criticism pretty well because she could have blown up on Heather, but she didn't. She just wanted to, I guess, understand like Heather's viewpoint and where she was coming from, because she could have gone off but she didn't. And Heather was like, you were friends with Jen. And she's like, well, you were friends with Jen. Or somebody else said it. And it's like, it's different. Heather has still maintained, like, even if she says she is glad she's not friends with Jen or whatever, I have still yet to hear her say something like really bad about Jen. Like, I don't think that, you know, it was that bad. She hasn't really, but I feel like other people that claim to have been close to Jen Shah have like drug her name through the mud. Like, they have been really, really intentionally shady about discussing her, you know, anything. So that's why I'm like, I kind of get where Heather's coming from. Then I believe Meredith goes next, and she has Whitney to the right of her. So her warm and fuzzy, she says that she thinks that most of the stuff that Whitney does is coming from a good place. That I don't agree with. I don't think Whitney does anything from a good place. I think she does it from a shady place and tries to play stupid. Like, oh, I didn't know people would take that the wrong way. Like, no, girl, you might be stupid, but you're not that stupid. And that's what bothers me. Like, no. So yeah, I'm like, no way. But then her cold and prickly, she's like, and my cold and prickly is, oh, she didn't go next. But either way, she's like, my cold and prickly, and what's it called? Whitney was like, was it that I brought Angie K? Like, girl, do you see what I mean? Like, she tries to purposely do things to kind of cause a spark, because Meredith wasn't even about to say that. Like, if that's what she was going to say, then let her say it. Why are you trying to throw it in there? Because you're trying to start drama at the table, like intentionally. It's never like a natural progression to drama with Whitney. It's like she's trying to literally sit there, pour the gasoline, and set the match. And sometimes, like, you know, the match fizzles out before it gets to the fire. And it's just like, I'm going to keep trying to set this fire till it freaking explodes. And that's how I see Whitney. Like, it's not a genuine, you know, nothing happens in natural progression. But she says that her cold and prickly is her communication, which Whitney says she's working on. What's it called? Monica does her cold, warm, and fuzzy to Lisa, and she's like, oh, your warm and fuzzy is that you're here. You like didn't complain too much about your outfit, even though it looked like she complained about her outfit the whole ride to the dinner place. And she said her cold and prickly was that she had been complaining about losing her ring the whole time. And Lisa immediately is like pissed. She's like, oh, it was 60 G's, but it's not even just that, it was sentimental. I personally believe that she didn't lose that ring. I don't believe it. I just have such a hard time believing that. I mean, maybe she did. She claims she did. And I want to believe her because she said that she did. But I just feel like it was a really good opportunity on camera, but not on camera, to conveniently lose something of that price. That's just my opinion. And the girl was like, you're complaining too much about it. And as someone who maybe doesn't have that much money or whatever, you know, it comes off some way. And although I understand Monica, I'm like, girl, you didn't need to bring up that you broke. You should have just left the point as the point. Not, I feel this way because of my standing in society. It should have been like, you've been talking too much about it. Cut the shit. That's it. That's. I'm not saying it's right, because if I lost a $60,000 ring, rich, poor, whatever, I'm gonna be complaining, because I don't like to lose $1. So I couldn't imagine losing a $60K ring. I would lose my ish. So I actually probably would complain. In fact, trip over. Like, I'm not going nowhere after I lost a $60K ring. Like, where am I going? How am I going to enjoy? There's no enjoyment. There's no enjoyment for the rest of my life. Until that 60 G's is back in my pocket, I can never enjoy. I would never enjoy. I literally sit in bed and mope, because how? So I don't actually blame Lisa for complaining because I think that would be my energy. I would complain, but it's still kind of annoying on the outside. Like if it's not you and you didn't lose a 60K ring, it's a little annoying because as soon as Monica mentioned it, they pan to the other faces and everybody's kind of like, yeah, it's been annoying. Like, you know, which was funny. But Lisa got so mad that Whitney was like, oh, let's not play that anymore. Let's just play a different game. And I forgot what she said. I think it was something about like, let's play a game. I don't know if Whitney came up with the game or Angie K came up with the game, but they were basically like, let's play a game in which we talk about how the vibe is or a word to describe the trip. Prior to this, I forgot to mention when Whitney had brought up Meredith being upset about Angie K and Meredith saying, no, that wasn't what I was gonna say. Mary stepped in and was like, you were upset though, so say that. And I feel like Mary has been doing a really, really good job of holding people accountable in the few moments that she's there. And I'm not, still, she's a mess to me. But if someone's your friend, you should hold them accountable. And it's funny because even back at the hotel, at the motel, Monica did the same thing. She told, you know, Angie K how rude she was being to Meredith. And she's like, well, you're my friend and you shouldn't. She goes, yeah, but even as your friend, especially as your friend, I should be able to tell you when you're doing something that's wrong. Like, I can't just be your friend and blindly follow you. I should be able to say, hey, your behavior is inappropriate or what you're doing I don't like because I'm your friend. Like if I was a stranger, I should probably shut up. But if I'm your friend, I should be able to say, I don't like this behavior. So anyways, back to the dinner table, Angie K is like, oh, the vibe of the evening is insert Greek word for fake. So I don't remember the word, but that was ultimately what she said. And she doesn't know why Meredith doesn't want to talk to her and this and that, why she's not being nice to her. And Meredith was like, you told me that you never wanted to be my friend, or she didn't want to be her friend publicly or something. And Angie K was like, when did I say that? Now, I thought it was interesting that Meredith didn't just say on this day at this place, because that's how she treated Whitney when Whitney spoke about her bath. She was like, when you did your interview, blah, 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 and she had the receipts laid out. But when it came to Angie K, and Angie K was like, when did I say that? She just kind of let it fall into the air. And I'm like, Mare, don't say nothing if it's not true. Like, you need to, you know. And luckily Monica was like, bring the receipts, girl. So I think that Monica is friends with Angie K, but she just seems like somebody that isn't with the BS. So because she's not with the BS, she's kind of like, let's get it together. So then I don't know why Meredith starts going off. She's telling Angie K she can leave. She's like, you can leave. I'm like, this is dramatic. Like, this is Shakespearean worth acting. Like, the eyes were bulged and the veins was popping out of her neck. I was like, I'm not sure how we got here, Meredith. Not quite sure, but we're here. And you are mad. Like, it was just 0 to 100. She was like, you can leave, you can leave, you can leave, and then boom. And I'm just like, huh, crazy. But yeah, so Angie's obviously ignoring her, and then she starts talking about how she did this and that for Meredith, and she thought that because she did that, Meredith would XYZ. And once again, because I had mentioned it before, I think I mentioned it, I don't know, when last episode I did, Angie has a problem in which she thinks that if she does for you, you are now in her debt. I would never let somebody like Angie K do anything for me, because it's only a matter of time before she throws it back into your face and acts like you owe her. I'm not saying that Meredith couldn't be nicer, but I don't like that characteristic because this is now the 4th or 5th time that this same thing has happened in which he said, don't you remember I did this for you? You should be XYZ. Ma'am, no, I don't owe you nothing. If you did a favor for me, you did a favor for me. Now, if you did this for me and said, oh, I'm doing this for you so you could do XYZ for me, that's different. But it's like she does these favors out of the kindness of her heart, but the first moment she gets to throw back the favor in your face, that's what she does. So then Meredith goes and tries to call security on her, but goes to a waiter and was like, I want her removed. It's a restaurant. They're not gonna do that. She's sitting at y'all table. Y'all invited her. She was part of your reservation. Meredith, are you crazy? I don't know if it was the liquor or she's just so angry. And she starts kind of just ranting about children and this and that. And honestly, I really am interested to know what the hell happened, because it's like, what are you talking about? Like, I genuinely felt for one of the first times that I just had no idea what Meredith was talking about. Like, none whatsoever. Like, her rant was so off the wall that it just didn't make any sense. And then she storms out in tears, or fake tears, because by the time she was talking to Lisa, there were no more tears. Again, they could have given her time to like get herself together to have this conversation. I don't know, right? We see the finished product. We don't see all the in-between editing. But she's talking to Lisa. She's like, we could talk about rumors. We could talk about Angie's husband. Do we want to go there? And, immediately Lisa's like, she says she wants to change, but she's following the patterns of always wanting to expose somebody's family the minute she's upset. And I'm like, that's true. Because Angie, Angie had a couple of good reads in there in which she was talking greasy to her about her life. But I feel like as a viewer, I want to know what the heck is going on with Angie K, because I think the tea on Angie K is probably piping hot. But if I was one of the women on the show, I would see that as Meredith not really having changed. But then again, none of these women have really changed. I think they're all the same. I think they're all there for their checks, so they're going to do what they need to do for their checks. And if that means continuously bring up somebody else's rumors, then that's what it is. You do it. And it's crazy because these rumors are always like the same. Oh, this person was cheating. Like, I need better stuff. Like, I don't know what would be better, but in my head, if Angie K's husband is just cheating on her, it's not enough. I need it to be like with a sex doll or something. Like, I need this drama to be good. I need him to be cheating with like a stuffed animal. Like, he can't, it's like a fetish. Like, I need something just so off the wall that I would not have expected it. Because if he's cheating then, or if Angie's cheating, they're all cheating, right? Isn't that what they all say? That's not good tea to me anymore. But yeah. Anyways, Meredith comes back to the table because Lisa calms her down. And it sounds like, because the words never actually came out of her mouth, but it sounds like Angie K is gearing up for like an apology or trying to come to some understanding or get them back on the same page so they can have a true conversation. And I'm not gonna lie, that was big of Angie. Did not expect it at all, not from her. But that was how that started. And Meredith just loses it again. And it's like, ma'am, what did she do to you? Like, why are you, like, yeah, if somebody says they don't want to be your friend anymore, I might not want to talk to you, I might not want to be your friend, but the reaction is crazy. And I need to know why she's getting this energy from you. Like, I would love to know. So I'm interested to find out what happened with that, because I just don't get Meredith's response is just so crazy. It just doesn't really make sense. Anyways, Lisa's like, hey, we should probably leave because this is just too much. The energy is too hot. We should probably just go back. So they get into their little Sprinter van to go back to the hotel, and they get back, and all of a sudden, Heather, who got into the car talking about, woo, it was such a good dinner, like, I'm so excited, I love it, is like dead to the world. I'm like, did she have shots in the Sprinter van? Like, yes, she said she had 5 espresso martinis, and yes, that is a lot. I'm not denying that. But the switch was just so quick. Maybe she gets car sick as well, because that's a thing, right? But all of a sudden, she's just like laid out. Like, she's like, I'm so sick, I'm so this, I'm gonna throw up, blah, blah, blah. They close the Sprinter van, Whitney's in there helping her, and all of a sudden, we just hear Heather retching, and it's just, oh, disgusting. And Heather's banging, I mean, Whitney's banging on the van, like, let me out. Yeah, girl, nobody wants to be stuck in there. First of all, vomit smells like hell. So being trapped in an enclosed space with someone who's vomiting could probably lead someone to vomit themselves. Like, ugh, God, so disturbing. But yeah, so, but before, the best thing happens. Before Whitney gets sick and they're sitting in the car, Mary decides to call out Whitney. She's like, Whitney, you were not trying to help that situation. You were trying to, beat the flames. Like, you say you were trying to help, but you weren't. You're fake. You're this, you're that. And she's like, because you did this to me and my family when you said that we did a pornography. And everybody's like, what? She's like, you said we did a pornography. Whitney's like, what? I don't, Mary. And Mary's just going off. She's not even letting Whitney speak. And Whitney's like, Mary, I don't think I ever said your family did porn. And Whitney was, and then Mary's talking to Heather, who's like passed out. And it's like, what did she say? What did she call it? Heather's like, I think she said predator. And she goes, yeah, that's it. I don't know how she went from pornography to predator. These are not even like, I guess they both start with P, but like, ma'am, those were such far words. Like, I get it. I do it too. I mess up my words. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but pornography and predator, in fact, even in the way she used the term pornography, it didn't even fit into that sentence. It didn't make sense there. So I'm just like, girl, what are you talking about? But again, this is another instance of Mary calling Whitney out, because the truth is, Whitney needs to be called out. There needs to be someone there that constantly puts a finger to her, like, like this, and tells her, girl, you not slick. We on to you. Because she thinks she's slick. That's really what it is. And she's trying. And Mary is there every step of the way. Like, you're not slick. I'm on to you. You raggedy. You childish. You this. And I'm just like, I like it. I like it. Sorry. I don't care. But yeah. So Mary leaves, like I said, and then Heather has her little instance of throwing up. And that's pretty much how the episode ends. And I'm genuinely excited for episode 4. Who knows what the heck is gonna happen? Like, this season is so badly missing Jen Shaw, it's actually sick. But I'm giving these girls a try, and Monica so far is delivering, even though, like I said, her story's a little shaky to me. She's delivering. It seems like Lisa might have changed a little bit. We'll see what happens when she's angry, right? Because she hasn't gotten angry yet. Yeah, everybody is kind of playing their role, and seeing that little bit of change in Angie K, where she almost gave an apology, has me like, are you different than who I thought you were? I mean, she's not completely, because I still think she's like a favor counter, which I don't like. But I'm just like, okay, let's see if she's someone who could admit when she's wrong. We'll see. But yeah, you guys, I'm excited. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think I missed. That was really important. Let's chat. Let's chat in the comments about this episode and what you guys see for this season. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.